If you could score on every single drive in Madden, chances are you'd win at least 10 times more games. That seems like a tall task, but nevertheless, it is possible if we locate where 90% of our drives are being stopped. And that location is the red zone. The two techniques we'll be covering in this video to 10 times your red zone efficiency and allow you to score on every drive is number 1, hitches on the numbers, and number 2, the Zig Flat combination. First, let's talk about hitches on the numbers. And what I mean by hitches on the numbers, I mean exactly what you think I mean. We're gonna grab our receiver that is in a vertical alignment with the numbers. So in this case, you can see the 10-yard line. Chris Godwin is the closest receiver to that yard line, and that means he's in the perfect spot to manipulate the zones. And when I say manipulate, I just mean it makes the zone responsible for that receiver. So in this case, we're gonna play against a simple cover 2. And to put Chris Godwin on a hitch, we're gonna press the triangle or Y button, then circle or the B button, and then the right trigger, so R2 or RT. And as you can see, he will now be on a hitch. And I want you to pay close attention to the cloud flat on the field. Now this cloud flat will play down towards the hitch, and it'll allow us to throw this crossing route that's crossing the field on him. And as you can see, Jair Alexander wasn't even near that crossing route. And that is exactly how every single cloud will play. Now you can utilize this from the 10-yard line, the 15-yard line. If you really wanted to, and your opponent is spamming cover 2, you could actually use this throughout the field. Now it's not just cover 2 that it beats. I'm gonna now call a cover 3 buzz spy in this case, right? A very simple defense. And you gotta think, there's no way the outside third will play the crosser. So in this case, you'll actually see the crosser will just bypass that outside third and allow us to click on for an easy catch and an open window. The curl flat didn't play it and the outside third doesn't play it. And then your next question would be, okay, but for sure cover 4 would have to play it. That's my favorite defense. Well, you'd be wrong. You'd actually notice that the hitch will pull inside the quarter, allowing us to throw the crossing route once again. Now, if you can beat every zone coverage in the game, what is your opponent left to do? Of course, the next thing he's going to do is call man coverage. But since it's a crossing route, and as long as we have a solid receiver, most of the time we're going to be able to click on and catch that regardless, usually in the end zone. So you don't have to worry about any coverage in the game. So what is our opponent actually left to do? Well, our opponent's going to user it. So if your opponent uses it, then this play is taken away. But if you really think deeply, and I know maybe some of you guys already thought about this, what if we grab our other receiver and move him over so he's now closely aligned with the numbers? So first, since we're in a tight set, we need to put him on a hitch first, and then we're motioning him over with the D-pad, so he's now on the numbers. And of course, okay, well, we need a route to go to that side of the field to take advantage of that. Okay, what about a tight end crosser? So now what we have here is 2 routes that we can nearly guarantee will get open against every zone and man coverage. Now, Cade Otton may not be able to beat man all that great, but nevertheless, he will still get open against most players. So as you can see, we're going to have triangle every time. Of course, we're getting a little bit blitz there. Nevertheless, you can see it's wide open. Now, if I go to instant replay right here, you'll actually notice the crosser is also open. It sits in a nice window of the field. We would just wait, and once it reaches this part of the field, you notice how much space you actually have. And if it's a tight window throw, you could of course highball it since we're utilizing our tight end. Now, how else can we utilize hitches on the numbers? I present to you the double out route combination. So all we're doing is putting both interior receivers on out routes, motioning out one of our hitches, and putting a hitch on the short side receiver, right? So we have 2 hitches on the numbers, knowing it'll pull the zones down and inside. Now, to put someone on a smart routed out route to the end zone, or maybe just 10 yards if it's 1st and 10 or anything like that, all you have to do is press triangle, X again, and then you're gonna smart route it with the R1 or the RB bumper. So Y or A, or Y, then the right bumper. So in this case, you get a combination that looks like this, and that will smart route your tight end. And as you can see, when your opponent is in something like a cover 2, you'll see that the out route, especially on the short side or the wide side, it doesn't necessarily matter, hits that perfect corner of the end zone, allowing you to throw an easy touchdown versus cover 2. Now, obviously, you'd be like, okay, maybe this doesn't work versus cover 3. But I've tried to tell you guys that the hitches are one of the most overpowered things in the game, and no one seems to be talking about it or showcasing it. So in this case, once again, you'll see that the hitch will hold down that zone and allow us to throw that out route pretty wide open in the corner of the end zone. Now, I haven't been looking to the other one because I always like to try to throw the open receiver or the quickest open receiver. But of course, if that were to be usered, you see that you can throw this one wide open on the other corner of the end zone. And if you have short in, which of course Mike Evans and Kate Otten do not, this will also be very good against man coverage. And that concludes hitches on the numbers, but wait for the next one. It might be even better. Now, if you struggled to get down the field or really enjoyed concept 1 and would like to see all the different ways you can utilize the red zone concepts I'm showing in this video, make sure to check out my tight doubles offensive ebook on acemadden.com and make sure to use code SWOLO at checkout for 15% off. Now, if you remember any of Madden 22, besides wheel routes, you definitely remember this combination out of dig return with the flat and this deep zig, allowing the zig to get wide open for red zone touchdowns for a lot of people. Now, you don't have to have dig return or tight end whip in order to run this amazing combination. You can actually make it out of pretty much any tight formation or almost any formation in the game. And to do this, we're just going to put a zig beside a flat. So on the left side of the field, we have a zig on Mike Evans and a flat on Julio Jones. And to do this, we press triangle or Y again, and then left on the right stick. And then to put Julio on a flat, we're going to press triangle or Y, then square X, and then the left trigger, so L2 or LT if you're on Xbox. So in that case, that'll create a beautiful zig flat combination. And as you can see, we have pretty much that zig wide open. The deep half, again, I'm clicked onto them, but it would have been wide open regardless of the defense. Now, let's say they decide to run something like cover 3, right? They'll user, let's say this hook curl here, right? So I'll just put like a mid read to mimic a user. And as a result, you'll notice that the zig flat combination will do fantastic against cover 3. You'll see a little window and you'll be able to throw that, right? So the zig flat combination, as you can see, commands a user in order to cover it. So now, what is your opponent left to do? Well, they could try man coverage, and I would not advise them to do this if I was their Madden coach. And you'll see that the zig will be able to cook man pretty bad, and that'll likely be the result for your opponent. So that means it requires a user. And similar to our hitches concept, it'll also require a user. So you can create a combination utilizing both of these concepts. So in this case, we have a zig flat on the left, and then on the right side, we have hitches on the numbers. So we bring it all together here to showcase how effective these routes can actually be. So in this case, let's see what we find that's open. So in this case, we actually have the hitch. So the hitch is pretty open there. So if the cloud ever does bite back like that, which it truly does rarely do, the only time it does that is when our receiver gets bumped. I'm actually kind of happy it happened here. And because of that, you'll have the hitch pretty open. So let's do this one more time against the simple cover 2 defense. So here we are, just simple cover 2, which is a relatively common defense to play against. In this case, the zig is pretty open. We're able to get 2-3 yards there. In general, both of these routes command user responsibility. So let's do another hitches on the numbers concept along with the zig flat combination on the left. So let's see if we can hit the out route here. And as you can see, the out route is wide open and we can hit it right in the end zone. So pretty much we're creating combinations where the user has to pretty much cover one of those routes on the field. And if they don't cover one of those routes on the field, you'll notice that you'll have a very easy time dotting them up in the end zone in those weak points that they're constantly going against. As you can see, that zig sits in the nice soft spot of the field. But I could run this play about 100 times and we'll see great results throughout against pretty much every coverage defense they can throw at you. And that's why I love these two concepts in unison, or you can just put hitches everywhere and 2 crossers. There's so many different ways to utilize it, but I do think I covered it amazing in my ebook on acemadden.com, so make sure to check that out and use code SWOLO. Now, if you enjoyed the video, don't hesitate to subscribe to the channel for the best Madden content that there is. And on top of that, if you're interested, we have a great video going over how tight doubles pretty much gets down the field very easily right here.